He said, "Look at the camera."
Look at the camera.
Look at the
I think we're live.
I am looking at the
Are we?
camera.
Oh, what? Yeah, we're live.
Hey!
Welcome to Stay on Target. Another live episode number 18 we're at now.
Wow.
Big old 1-8.
1-8.
Big ol' 1-8.
We can officially vote now.
Yep.
Oh.
What a great year for it.
Yeah.
That's enough about that. How you guys doing?
That's enough about that. We're
You
good.
guys doing good?
How are
I'm doing
we?
great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Nick, you drove probably through the Hothian blizzard
I did. I
On
really did.
a tauntaun.
on a tauntaun.
Actually,
That
I
was
had to
impressive.
get
Yeah.
Another tauntaun because the first one didn't make it.
You had to stop because you saw some dude with a lightsaber cutting open one of his
Yeah.
tauntauns. You asked him if he needed help, and he said he
You
was
all
good.
right?
Luke, he's so cocky.
I thought they smelled bad on the
I
outside.
was trying to talk to him, but he kept saying Ben, Ben. So I just left.
Ben Kenobi.
That is a reference to Star Wars.
We reference Star Wars because
Yeah.
it's kind of a Star Wars show. We say it's a show about all things, but it's mostly Star Wars things. So
We're nerds.
we're nerds. Thanks for joining us, though, and listening on the audio podcast. If you're listening there, if you're watching us on any of our live platforms, we thank you for joining us on
the
this
Soch,
lovely Friday night anywhere in the world. So if you have any questions or
Yeah.
comments, you want to chime in, do so.
Do so.
Please do so.
Do so.
Hey, do
it.
so.
Sugars.
We're going to jump
Do it.
into a news segment first. We do have a comment already on
yeah, let's
YouTube,
do
I
it.
think. So
wow. That
I
was
love to
fast.
hear you all out there. I don't know why I went to that accent.
I love to hear you all out there.
It's just great to be here. I'm just happy to be here.
Allison
Yeah.
said, hey, guys. Hey, Allison.
Hey.
Thanks
What's
for
up?
joining us. Yeah.
Whoop.
And
I
before
yelled.
I get
I
too
yelled.
far, I'm Dan. Did we say our names?
No, I'm not Dustin.
I
That's
am
not Nick.
Nitsud.
That's not Nick.
I'm Dustin. This is Nick.
That's me.
And that's Handsome Dan.
And
Handsome
Dustin,
Dan.
and Dustin is
Dan
you look
Turn
great
Van.
tonight, Dan.
What?
I just have to say,
What?
you look great.
Well, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
oh, thank you.
Let's
You
do
know-
the news segment video.
Okay.
Wow. Well, there's been plenty of news in the Star Wars world.
Yep.
This particular week, actually, there was a huge announcement that they made and all kinds of retirements of sorts from the Disney.
Yes.
That wasn't really Star Wars related, but kind of it is.
It
It
is.
affects
What are
Star
the
Wars.
implications in the Star Wars universe? Bob Iger, the CEO,
It-
retired.
It affects all things.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does.
But mostly,
But mostly Star Wars
things.
things.
Mostly Star-
And
Classic.
cue music.
Yeah, that's
Dude.
the biggest announcement this week was they had a whole long thing, and you're like, is this a new film series? Is this a new, what is this?
Yeah.
Called
Disappointment.
The High
disappointment.
Republic here. And yeah, so this is officially from their page on
Yeah.
StarWars.com to launch Star Wars The High Republic publishing campaign is what it is.
Mhm.
And it looks like it's going to be a bunch of books, a bunch of
Comics, too.
comics,
Books.
storytelling. The most important
Yeah.
thing, though, is the time era that they are telling the stories
Yeah.
in.
It's an
Yes.
interesting choice.
Right.
Yeah.
It basically looks like they got a lot. Sorry, interject there, but it
Yeah.
basically looks like they got a bunch of authors that have already written
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the story group together to kind of come up with this next phase in a way. But I think it's more just the books and the comics. I think they're
so.
basically starting afresh with their own expanded universe,
Yep.
which, yeah, okay.
Cool.
I just kind
okay.
of wish they did some more of the expanded universe because they
Yeah.
already have gold out there. They're
True.
They're sitting on it.
they're just creating.
Is there
new-
any expanded universe content in this time period?
Oh yeah, I mean there's
There is?
expanded universe content. I guess there's probably not actually a lot in this time period, and
That's
maybe
probably
that's why
they chose it because they
Yeah.
could really write their own stories.
That's a good point. But the only thing is, so they're doing about 200 years back. Is
Yeah,
what-
200 years before the events of
The
Phantom,
Phantom
Menace.
Menace. Yeah. But the only thing is, you're still going to run into at least one familiar face, which is Yoda. He's
Yeah.
still going to be on. I don't know if he's going to be Grand Master.
Young
on that.
Yoder.
Or I mean,
Yeah, I
it
don't
seems
know.
like he would be at this point, but I don't know. I'm sure we'll see him.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's
We
gonna
have
be
to.
interesting. I'm kind of mixed on this. How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's a interesting direction they're going with. But yeah, I mean, if they don't take from already established lore and do their own thing, that might be scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it just depends. I try not
They
to
have to
not.
do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to knock things too much before they come out.
Yeah.
But there's some things that kind of have made me question.
Question about what
Mhm.
they're doing.
Yeah,
They've
what their
obviously been
intentions
planning
are.
this for a while, I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think they started it as soon as episode 9. They're like, let's figure out what we want to do for the because they already have artwork. They already have all kinds of people. They did a whole Q&A about it. So they already have a plan. So I'm assuming they started this within the last year or two. And I
Yeah.
don't know, some of the books might already be written,
Yeah.
and then they're just waiting to
yeah.
publish them and get them
Yeah.
all put out there. But one person that I was excited about, one of my favorite writers is Claudia Gray.
Yeah.
Her
I-
books are some of the best, if not the best, in my opinion, in the Star Wars
In the new canon.
new canon.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wrote only new canon.
New canon.
And like Lost Stars was really
Oh,
good.
that was really good.
That was really cool how it weaved in and out of 4, 5, and 6.
She did it.
Yeah.
She did it tastefully,
Yeah,
which
she definitely
and she
did.
didn't step on anything. She didn't really make it. So
Mm-hmm.
she just did it in such a good way, and you got more of a feel
Yep.
for both sides. That's what
Yeah.
I really liked about it.
Sorry.
Is you could understand
Yep.
where they were coming from in both ways, so it
Yeah.
was more interesting. You understood, I think, a lot more. I think that was kind of the beauty of that whole book was just like you're like, oh, I can understand why they were on the Empire side. It was just kind of weird to
Yes.
say.
Yeah,
But then on
right.
the other side, you could see like, oh, and it kind of had some twists in that book that you were like, oh, I didn't see it going that way.
It did have some really good twists, actually. And I like how it
Yeah.
ended kind of on, I don't want to give away the ending,
Well,
but on
Yeah.
Jakku, the planet. I
Yeah.
mean, they're there, which kind of led into, I don't think that book came out right before
it came out
episode
before.
7.
Yeah, I believe.
Or maybe right
so.
I think it
was
was right before
I
episode
don't
7.
remember.
Yeah.
Fact
But-
checker.
Fact checker.
Some facts.
It was what was the Lost Stars? is the name
Lost
of the-
Stars,
the
yeah. I
novel.
think it came
Fact
out
checker.
in 2015 or so-ish. So-ish.
So-ish.
And episode 7 came out in December of 2015. So, but she did that one. She did a couple of other Leia books, Princess of Alderaan,
Yeah,
and
she did
Qui-Gon, and which I've
Qui-Gon,
gotten
Obi-Wan,
through
or-
about a quarter of that book, and it's really good. It's really interesting. I
It's
haven't
good.
finished it.
I still think Lost Stars is the best.
Yeah.
Although Princess of Alderaan, she was Leia. That one was good.
And what was the other one she did? It was also revolving around Leia.
Oh
Bloodline.
yeah, Bloodline.
I really liked that book.
That one was good. That was like the first time you actually got some politics in the new
Yeah.
era. I think that's why a lot of people liked it, and the effect of
Her being
Of-
the
well,
daughter.
yeah. I don't know if we should say it, but you can.
There's some fallout, with the
But
politics.
they find out
and-
something big about her past and where she
Big.
came from.
Right. Yep.
which, yeah.
2015. Cha-ching.
Nailed
I
it.
think it came out
First
oh,
try.
I knocked my phone down. But yeah,
Thank
it,
you, fact
it was a good
checker.
book. So
You rock, fact
she,
checker.
at least out of the rest of them, I didn't really recognize the names, but I saw her name and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, she's a great writer. So that's the only thing that I have to go on personally that makes me excited a little bit about the High Republic. Plus the thought of them all coming together and, having a lot of thoughts. And somebody said, wow, they're doing such a good job of coming together with great minds that write stories and putting together a plan for the new series of books
Right.
and comics. And then they're like, why couldn't they do that for the movies?
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
That's a
Yeah.
good point.
I mean, you're like, I don't know. The movie's like, yeah, you just do one and you just do one.
All right.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it. Just
Have
go
fun
on.
with it.
Yeah.
So-
It's a free
Star
form.
Wars
free-
can't miss.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't screw this up.
They did make a lot of money.
And they
but
I mean, they all
Did.
made a lot of money, but
it
I think
didn't-
most of that was because it was Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty
but
much.
it's the diminishing returns is the problem.
Yeah.
You can run something that's fantastic into the ground. Looks like we got a Facebook comment.
Yay, we
Yeah.
do. We're Facebook.
We have a book of
commenter.
faces staring at us.
Could you
Let me pull
imagine if
this
that
up
was what it
real
was
quick
like?
here and see
Just
what
like a
happens.
book. Ooh.
That would be really weird.
That would be.
Yeah, my comments aren't coming in live, so let's see if I can
They're
find
not
them.
coming in live.
They're not coming
Are
in
you
live.
out there? Is anybody
coming
out
in
there?
dead.
There we go. Taylor Hawkins said cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we
so
all are.
that's a good way to put it.
Oh yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was hoping for one more author that I didn't see, which was Timothy Zahn.
Uh-huh.
I think they could have used some more of a season. I mean, really, for me, when it comes down to Star Wars authors, when it comes to books,
Mm-hmm.
Timothy Zahn is at the top of that list because he almost single-handedly brought back Star Wars to be relevant again in the 90s
Yep.
Yes.
with the Thrawn trilogy.
Timothy Zahn.
Nobody else
wrote
has
the
had
Thrawn.
that much of an impact on Star Wars when it comes to
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Timothy Zahn really did a fantastic job.
He did a fantastic
They should
job.
have just taken his 3 books and made those the new canon. I don't know
Yeah.
why they didn't do that because it already had a base behind it. I could
Mhm.
go on for days about this, but I won't. I'll
Yes.
stop there.
One episode we will for days.
Did you read
We're
or
gonna be live for the next week,
We're going for a
stay
Guinness Book
tuned.
of World Records.
like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of Guinness Book of
It's
World
so
Records,
interesting.
staying off target. Did you
Yeah.
guys hear about the dude that did a plank for like 8 hours?
Yeah.
Whoa,
8-hour plank.
Yeah.
Set
I
a
heard
Guinness
about
World
that.
Record.
that
Yeah.
can't be real.
How old was
I don't
he? He
even-
was like
he was in his like
his-
late 50s or 60s.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
60s,
the
I
same
think.
guy that's been doing it for a while.
Is it?
He's
Okay.
like his goal is to get like the longest.
Well,
Yeah,
he
I'm pretty
did.
Well, he
sure.
just did.
He
8
just did.
hours?
8
Yeah.
hours.
That's ridiculous. Isn't
So
it?
like you go to work in the morning, you start your plank, you don't eat lunch, and you go home and you just finished planking.
Yeah.
You're like,
That's
I'm done for the day.
right.
I'll collect
Oh
my
my
paycheck and go home.
Man,
Yeah.
like
I
a
don't know.
minute is tough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 seconds sometimes.
Like it's like your brain at the whole time would be like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. I don't
Right.
know. You probably would pass out, I imagine, at the
I
end.
don't know. He must have like abs of steel.
If he
like,
just collapses
"Ooh."
on the floor
He's
and they
got
have to like
abs.
carry him away on a stretcher.
Right.
Maybe he's already on. He's got an exoskeleton underneath.
Oh my
Ah,
and
he's
that's
got-
what it is. He's actually just sleeping.
Right. He's like,
He's like, man, he is in a trance.
right.
he might.
He's
I mean,
snoring with his
you got to
eyes
do
open.
something to
That's
convince
probably-
yourself.
He probably
Yeah.
just, that's how he sleeps at night. He's just
He's
trained
just
his
like-
body to
That's-
sleep in a
that
plank
could be.
position.
I'm
I guess-
sleeping.
I was
He's
thinking.
like, oh, I did it? Oh, I feel so rested. My abs hurt.
my abs-
Oh, no.
Right.
I
Don't
was
stand
thinking about that, but the human body is capable of, in moments of stress, lifting a car, or doing
Yeah.
crazy things.
Yeah.
What happens if you were
Mommy,
standing
He's
here?
just
right-
in a moment of stress all the time.
So ponder with me. If you were sitting right here and the earth just decided to split open right where you were, or let's say you were laying down on
And the
your
only
stomach,
way you can keep it from splitting.
and all of a sudden it just went whing, and now you're in a plank position.
Yep.
How long could you hold that if your life depended on it?
Probably about a minute.
yeah.
If it,
Not
the truth
gonna
is,
lie,
if it
I won't last 10 seconds.
if it only split that far apart, I'd probably just like figure out a way to kick over and just like
Right.
I don't have to plank. I can get out of
I
here.
think I'd try something like that sooner rather than later because if you're holding a plank position too
Yeah.
long, you're not going to have that core strength
Right.
to get across or something.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or something.
Yeah,
I'm
or
gonna
something.
jump up.
Oh,
Just fall.
Let's
down.
try it. All right.
Let's
Ready?
try it.
Let's
All
get
right.
let's research
let's
it.
pretend the Earth just split beneath us. Oh man! So back to staying on target. The High Republic
Mummy.
here. Here's some imagery
Yes,
from
on my
the
face.
on Nick's face, but I'm gonna hide.
Oh.
us.
Us. Oh, we disappeared.
Oh,
Oh.
there, better setting for the picture.
Yeah, that's the
Although
movie
you
theater
can't
on
quite
Tatooine.
see the bottom of it. But anyway, you kind of get the Jedi at the peak of their, I don't know, power.
Yeah, that's what it's designed. Basically, what it was talking about in that video was this is kind of the height of the Republic. That's why it's
Ooh.
called the High Republic. This is definitely whenever they are. I just thought I'd explain that
Oh,
just in
right.
case somebody
Oh,
didn't
the
understand.
height
and then
of the
next we're
Republic.
going
I am
to
Captain Obvious.
the Low Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I guess that would be
This is
Sidious.
the
That
low
is
point
that's Star
of the
Wars,
Republic.
the Low Republic,
Right.
that would be the
Oh
newest.
my
one.
otherwise
gosh.
known as an empire.
Yeah. Otherwise known.
Yeah, but it's 200 years before. It sounds like they're
Yeah.
kind of there's some conflicts going out more on the outer
Yeah.
rims.
Outer rim.
Well, they
And
want to
there's-
bring in villains and
Yeah, it sounds like the Nile is going to be their biggest adversary, and they're kind of like
In Egypt?
space pirates or Vikings. Space Vikings is kind of what
Space
they
Vikings.
compared them to.
Hmm.
Which it's interesting. I'm intrigued in a lot. The artwork always looks fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the thing that sells you
Yeah.
in so much of Star Wars. It's the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how
Yeah. Oh
Lucas got approval for the whole
Yep.
Yep.
the
He-
movie
'cause
was
he
the
got-
artwork from
What's his name? The dude.
Yep.
Oh my
That
God.
guy.
Ralph McQuarrie.
Ralph McQuarrie, legend.
McQuarrie.
The
the
legend.
legend himself.
The legend.
Yeah.
The legendary Bigfoot.
The
Hey,
legendary.
so Brady Bulldog chimed in. Hey,
Yo,
I'm super
Bulldog!
excited for the High Republic content. Also, more canon books. Sounds great to me.
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah,
dude.
Brady.
Don't it?
Thanks for chiming
Thanks
in.
for chiming
Yeah.
in, man.
He chimed in.
It's a good announcement. And since there's really not any films on the docket at the moment, it's going to be books for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I think there are some
No, there's
coming
not.
out, but I don't think they've announced what they are.
Yeah, you're right.
But-
And it sounds like the
But
High
there's-
Republic, what they announced, this is like phase 1
Phase 1.
oh yeah.
bombshell.
Well, because
Phase
they're
one.
trying to.
I wonder if they'll bring in other artists.
Arteris?
Authors. Maybe they'll bring Zahn in for part 2. Because remember they
Well-
were talking about the Great Disaster.
They might, because he's got a book coming out this year.
Zahn does?
Yeah, Zahn, and he's starting a whole trilogy with
Oh.
Thrawn.
Right.
Actually, I think it just got released.
Thrawn with the Zahn.
And he's doing a trilogy with Thrawn, but I think it's where Thrawn is actually still in the Chiss ascendancy.
Oh,
But I don't think it's gonna meet up with that time era. I think this
Yeah.
is just like,
Just a prequel sequel.
yeah, kind of in some ways.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be way more delving into the Chiss society, and that hasn't been done yet, which
Right.
I'm actually really excited
that
for.
sounds
Yeah.
pretty cool, actually.
We got another
Ooh.
comment. Thanks
Comment.
for chiming
You
in,
think the
people.
Chiss are-
Alisan said, I think after the trilogy, it's smart to turn to books, switch up the medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's a
Get
good,
people
good
reading
call,
again.
Alisand.
Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad way to go because people are all movied out at the moment. But
Yeah.
although we never get enough movies, but we've got Disney Plus, so they pivoted right into Disney Plus. Now they're
Yeah.
really we're watching Clone
Well-
Wars on Disney Plus. There's Mandalorian.
And that's really taken over, honestly.
Yeah,
I
that's going
mean,
to take over, and then books and comics. To feed
Yep.
all the Star Wars, and in a new era. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. The only thing
True.
with some of the news that has dropped though, with Bob Iger
Yes.
stepping down, is the new head of Disney, or the new CEO now is Bob
Chapek.
Chapek, who was in charge of Disney Parks, I believe. He's
Yeah, he was
moved
in
up
charge of
from
Disney
there.
Parks. Yep, he was
But
also in
it's-
charge of Disney Home Entertainment for
Oh,
a
yeah.
while.
Oh yeah,
He touched Disney Home Entertainment. He did some with the movies for a little while. I don't know, their entertainment. He did
He's
a
been
lot
in
of
the
different
company
things.
for a while. Yeah.
He's basically been in every department at one point or another.
So he's a
Right.
good. I think he's a good
Yeah.
candidate. I don't know a lot about him, but it sounds like he's going to be mixing things up, and
Mhm.
it sounds like rumors have been out there that he's already kind of put the kibosh on some Star Wars stuff that was
Oh, wow.
slated to come out, and that he's going to be restructuring away from some of the agendas that have been pushed a little bit more frequently
Interesting.
in recent mediums. I'm kind of excited about that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think we need to get back to the core of what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's why a lot of these films and books and stuff like that haven't quite landed with all the fans.
Yeah.
And I understand they're trying to generate new fans,
Yeah.
but you still got to be respectful and try to get the old fans to come back because
Right.
that's your base.
Fan
Exactly.
service.
Fan
It's a
service.
thing.
Yeah, but you don't have to beat people over the head with fan service, but it's got to be a smart move
Yeah.
and how you
Yeah.
do it. And some are, so there's lots of rumors going on out there. I
It's
don't
a
want to
tricky,
feed too much
it's
into the
tricky.
rumors, but
yeah, but somebody I heard it put that when you hire a new head coach of a sports team, a lot of times they get rid of all the other assistant coaches, all the other people that are in charge of various departments.
The clean house.
So they clean house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they're going to be a new head of Lucasfilm coming soon.
yeah, and I
Maybe
think
there
they
will be
know.
a new head of not Pixar,
Oh,
but
do you?
who knows? Who knows?
I think what's gonna happen, honestly, if you want me to just put it straight.
Put it straight, since you are the
I think-
employee of the month.
Yeah.
Yes,
You earned it.
I hit no one.
I hit no one.
No,
Perfect.
I think
accuracy.
Kathleen Kennedy's probably on her way out, and I think that either Dave Filoni and or Jon Favreau
Yep.
Are on their
are
way
gonna-
in.
are on their way in, and or the guy in charge of Marvel. I know he's been kind
Kevin
of
Feige.
He's been kind of
Feige.
put-
Feige.
I think he's been kind of putting his name to the
Feige.
mix, but I think between those three, I think they're gonna take one of them's gonna be the head of
That'd be
Lucasfilm.
exciting.
I
Heck with
think
it.
pers-
Do all three.
I think the one who's ripe to be the head, although I'm not sure he wants to be, is Dave Filoni
Yeah.
because he has the visions. And
I feel
The
like
visions.
I feel like he is going to want to be that eventually, but I feel like he's young enough that he's still in the mode of like creating.
Yeah, I think
new
that's the problem.
stories.
I don't
and
think
all
he
this
wants to
sort of
step away
stuff.
from
Yeah.
that stuff. I think he has so much fun creating stories
Yeah.
like Rebels, like
But
Clone
technically,
Wars,
George
like-
Lucas was in charge, and he was creating stories, and he was still running the
exactly.
company.
So
So
it can still
right.
be
it
done.
can be done. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he
but I
sold
just
it.
think he's been in.
Yes, he did.
He's the most direct apprentice
Successor.
to George Lucas because George Lucas was directly because all of the Clone Wars was headed up by Dave Filoni, And then, but right above him was Lucas, and Lucas was directly working with him on all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And so
Yes.
that's why it was such a good kind of master and apprentice situation going on. That for me, it just makes sense for him to come to take
Mhm.
over. The only thing is, he's a creative. That doesn't necessarily make you the best
The
at
best
running
candidate.
a company.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of other tasks involved, like reporting to
Yeah.
Disney now and reporting to
Yeah, that's true.
all the
You have to have a
different
good relationship, which I think
business.
is also why Jon Favreau is involved, because Jon Favreau has, I think, his own company, production company, and everything, and
Mhm.
he's been working with Disney on so many things. Now he's working on Star
Yeah.
Wars. He knows how to run things well.
Well, he did all those movies for Marvel and
But the funny thing is, and how Favreau and Filoni talk, it's almost like Favreau talks about Filoni like he's not looking up to Filoni, but like he almost, I think he said in an interview that Favreau is just an apprentice to Filoni in a lot of ways.
yeah.
I think he means that more in the story aspect
okay.
to what they're creating.
Especially in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
more of what it is. But still, there's still that interesting dynamic. But they obviously work very well together, and
Oh,
they've
man,
been
yeah.
working together for a long time because Jon Favreau has been
A part of
a
Clone
part of the
Wars.
Clone Wars. Yeah, he was the voice of Pre Vizsla.
Well, that's a
Yes.
good transition right there.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
because
I'll stop talking about it.
we
It's just
are-
interesting facts.
Yeah.
Into the news and out of the news, but
Yeah.
there's definitely some cool stuff coming out. Thanks.
Mhm.
Was it-
I know Brady Bulldog commented earlier in the week on his excitement and our thoughts on the High Republic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's
Any
kind of
other
where we're
thoughts?
at.
I
yeah.
know we kind of deviated from that a little
I don't
bit.
know.
But the only thing that kind of was weird for me, I don't know why it's weird, but the lightsaber design, the hilt, that's
Yeah.
not a lightsaber
Go
hilt.
back to the
Yeah, I want to
Eh,
find that
picture.
image.
I like it, but in some regards, I'm like,
Bloop.
it
That doesn't
almost,
work.
It
That
yeah,
one right
it
up
doesn't
front.
make a bunch of sense to me.
Looks like a sword.
It's
Yeah.
cool, but I think it's because what they were talking about was they're kind of designing this to be more like Arthurian times, like King Arthur,
Ah.
and like Knights of the Round Table is kind of, I think, some of the inspiration they got from
gotcha.
this.
Knights of the Round
So I
Table.
understand the I understand the concept, but I just feel like the design of it doesn't make a whole bunch of sense with the lightsaber. If the
Well, maybe
lightsaber's sliding down, unless it's
like
lightsaber
a vibro
resistant,
blade, yeah.
then
'Cause
it's,
it's just
really
gonna
not
cut
gonna make
through
a,
that hill.
It's gonna cut
Yeah.
through that hill. It's just there to
unless
look
it's
good.
made out of something that. Is
Otherwise,
lightsaber.
unless it's like Kylo's, which actually has lightsabers coming out. the
right.
ends, does
Yeah,
it
but
make a
why
bunch of
is it
sense?
not lit?
I don't know. So that's the only thing. This is just artwork and design. That doesn't mean it's necessarily how it's going to be, but it just, I don't know why it struck me as like, we're just kind of,
Yeah.
maybe it's just because it reminds me of the new trilogy, and I don't
Right.
absolutely love.
You
the
don't
new
absolutely
trilogy,
love it. Yeah, it's interesting.
but that's just my thoughts, and it doesn't make a bunch of sense from somebody who, since we've done some practical work
Yeah.
with
right.
lightsabers.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we also know from practical experience that sometimes a reverse grip isn't actually the
True.
best thing to do.
Right.
And a lot of
It's
times,
dangerous.
It makes a little bit more sense with a lightsaber because it can go through stuff. But the problem with a reverse grip is you just don't have the leverage.
yeah.
Like if you hold
You're
something
more
with
of
your
a-
thumb like this, you have your thumb behind it. If you hold it reverse grip, you don't have that. It's pushing this
Right.
way and it's
And I-
away from your thumb.
I always feel
So
like you always
you
have,
don't have the
Yeah.
the force unless you grab it with two hands. Then you have that. But
Right.
it looks cool,
It's more of
Physics.
but I feel like you
It's
always
more-
have more risk of like cutting your legs off.
yeah, yeah,
To
that's
be
true. How
You
dangerous
gotta
it is
really
to yourself.
be-
Yeah.
aware of where that blade is. So
Anyway, that was just another off
another-
topic.
off
tidbit.
topic,
Well,
but
it was
yeah.
on topic, but
But it's interesting.
On
We
topic.
will keep
Topical
reporting as
ointment.
more stuff comes out, and probably we'll be checking out the books and maybe the comics and talk about those as they come out, and
Yes.
get our thoughts. Yeah. So any more questions? Fire those in. But we're gonna jump into the main topic tonight, which we did just watch episode 2
Of the
of
Clone
the Clone
Wars.
Wars.
a distant echo, cookie, echo.
Your second to last echo is broken.
Oh man, not again.
Not again. Phineas and Ferb.
Phineas and Ferb,
reference.
baby.
Oh man,
Woo! That's such a good
Not a
episode.
sponsor.
another
Not a
Disney.
spot.
Isn't that a
Also
Disney, show?
Disney,
That is
Yeah.
a Disney show. They're
Disney
slowly
Plus.
taking over. That was weird. Actually, the other day I saw that. Sorry. Speaking of Disney, this does pertain.
Does it?
That how is that? That's a new movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, the guy. Yeah.
What was that
It's
called?
like Free Guy. or
Free
something.
Guy or something.
Yeah.
And he's like a NPC
Yeah.
character that takes starts
Takes
doing his own
charge.
thing.
Yeah.
But I saw that it was by Disney was in front of it.
Oh.
But it's actually Fox. But because Disney bought
Oh.
Fox, it was just really weird to me because I'm like, this is not going to be like a Disney kids
Right.
movie. It's definitely not. It's definitely gonna be for adults. It looked
Yeah.
like.
yeah.
But I was
Oh,
just like, so it just
Wow.
threw me for a loop that it was Disney and then
Disney
Fox,
owns Fox.
Mm.
and the movie was not like
Disney Fox.
PG-13. I mean,
Right.
maybe it is PG-13, but
But
it's
it might
not
be
like
more
PG.
than
you know,
might be
Yeah.
more
It's
than
just-
PG-13. Yeah.
it just looked, because typically Ryan Reynolds movies aren't always the most
Great.
family-friendly
Yeah.
movies. So
They're not always
I mean, they
typically
are
always the
great,
most.
But
yeah. So anyway,
Not
that just threw me off. I
great
just thought that
content.
was interesting.
Yeah, it's
Boo.
absolutely crazy to think that Disney is basically ruling the world when it comes to film
Yep.
and TV. I don't know I haven't checked the latest numbers on Disney's share of the streaming market, but I imagine Disney Plus is right up there with Netflix or close.
Oh yeah,
You know,
already. Well,
Mandalorian was the number one most streamed show when it came out by a long shot, and then
Which
Netflix
beat
came out with a
Netflix.
show.
Yeah.
the
and that-
first.
Yeah, right out of the gate. But then Netflix came out with another show, and that took the top dog again. But obviously, what was it? I can't remember how many, 10 million or something, right at the beginning of it. It's like,
That The Mandalorian really is
Crazy.
what kicked off Disney Plus.
Yep.
I'm not sure as many people would have
Yeah.
gotten.
well, they
Disney
were talking
Plus.
about
Probably
Bob
not.
Iger.
Yeah.
He figured out the deal with Marvel. He figured out the deal with Star Wars. Figured-
Lucasfilm, yeah.
Lucasfilm. He figured out the deal with Fox. He did Disney
They
Plus.
worked to deal with Sony
Yeah,
for Marvel.
yeah,
They
right.
almost screwed it up.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's so he went out at the top of his game. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney,
Yeah,
he went out and he can sit back and say, "Yeah, I did a pretty good job in my tenure at Disney," which
yeah.
is insane.
And maybe he's just
Right.
tired of dealing with it. But it was weird that it was so sudden.
no, but it wasn't that sudden. He'd been talking.
I
about
know
it
he'd
for a
been
while.
talking about it, but he was supposed to finish out his. I think he still
Contract.
will finish out his contract.
Yeah,
But it's just kind of weird that it was so abrupt.
hopefully he's healthy and there's no issues.
Yeah,
there,
that's the only thing. I mean, I hope he's okay. If nothing
Yeah.
else has come up or anything like, I don't think that's the case. But anyway, yeah.
I think he's mega wealthy.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's doing fine. He's doing.
I think I
fine.
read his
Healthy
net
and
worth of
mega
15 million or something like that. But what's 15 million?
to a
He bought-
CEO of
He
Disney.
spent $4 billion on Star Wars.
That's true.
Right.
That's
he's dealing
crazy.
with billions and billions, but he's
Billions and billions of
he's
dollars.
probably richer than that. But hey, let's jump into Clone Wars episode 2,
Clone
A Distant Echo.
Echo. Cookie. Echo.
Wombat.
So I don't have the spoiler cue here, but let's go non-spoilers,
Non-spoilers.
and get our initial thoughts on the show, on the episode. Nick,
yeah.
And to you.
Here
Nick.
you
It was
go.
a good episode, I would say. It added to the story.
Great.
Yep, that's it. That's all I got to say.
That's all Nick's got
the
to
Nick
say
review.
about that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember it
yeah,
because I just watched it, but out the window.
yeah, but we did just watch it, and
Ooh.
we've
Yeah.
only seen it once. So,
No, oh gosh, I gotta remember what happened.
well, it started off
you're still
still
thinking
on.
about
brain's
that
cooking right
Donut
now.
chicken sandwich you
Yes,
had.
I am.
They're still on Anaxis, isn't that the
Still
name of
right
the
there.
planet?
What?
Isn't it Anaxis, the planet that
Anaxis?
they're on?
Is it? Oh yeah, in
Yeah.
the beginning. Yeah, you're right.
And so they're still there on Anaxis.
the
you know,
siege of Anaxis.
the battle they got that at the end of the first episode. They got the code or whatever, or
Mhm.
the
Yep.
location of who they think
Well,
is Echo.
oh, yeah.
Spoilers of episode
Yeah.
1.
Yeah,
Episode
man.
one.
But they did. We're leading off. so
Non-spoilers.
there might be some spoilers from episode 1, but I'll try not to.
It's kind of hard to talk about a
Yeah.
Yeah.
second episode of that.
But they're still
Right.
on Anaxis.
It
and,
continues where episode 1 left off.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. And Rex and
Mind-blowing.
Anakin have another moment.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Rex helps Anakin out.
was kinda
He has a
weird,
quick
but-
favor, and then Obi-Wan shows up. First time we've seen Obes, right?
Yeah.
Oops.
I think you're right.
Oops. And he's
The Oops
Yeah.
to the
Yes.
one.
Oops.
he had a nice nod to Anakin at
Oh.
that moment in
Yeah.
this non-spoiler portion of the show. And
That's why it's so tough to
it's
talk
hard
about.
It is.
I think we just need to talk about the overfeel of the
Overall.
of the episode.
Overall
What we
feel.
thought.
Did you like it
Well-
more than the first episode? There's a good question we can all answer.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like that we're getting into the story a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, there's more happening. They're
Yeah.
starting to actually be able to dive a little bit into the character development.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
They're building
it's
off of the
nice to
first
see
episode.
that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's an arc. We like
Yeah.
seeing arcs in the Clone Wars. That's what
Yep.
makes
Noah.
sense.
And we now know
Noah's
the
Ark.
Bad Batch. You know, the Bad Batch showed up, so they don't have to reintroduce those folks.
Yeah.
So we get to see them kind of continue on in their unique ways, whatever they do. They excel at their
ways.
specific traits or whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
desirable
And they definitely use
defects.
that. And then who's the guy, the big one?
Wrecker.
Wrecker. Yeah, he had another funny moment in this one
Yeah.
that was good. He had
Yeah,
one in the
it was-
first
I
episode,
can
and he had one in the
relate.
second
Yep.
episode.
We'll talk about that in
talking about in the
spoilers.
Yeah.
spoiler
Spoilers for
section.
sure.
We'll,
It
we'll
was-
talk spoilers in the spoiler
But
section.
it was good. It was a really great line. I
Yeah,
liked
it
that
was
a
a
lot.
great
Overall,
line.
yeah, I think I liked it more than the first one. I think mostly just for the fact that we were getting some character development. Although I will say that some of the action sequences I liked almost better in the first one because
Soil.
I,
No,
I
that's
like
not
better
what
in the
spoil-
first one because it seemed like they really thought that out, and this was the
Yeah.
first episode, and they had to make it pretty awesome. I think they already had all that there
Yeah.
again, but I just liked how they worked as a unit. It was cool to see the Bad Batch work as a unit.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that was just really cool to see in the action sequences. And we've been noticing a little bit of some really cool camera work that they've been doing.
Really
It
cool.
looks
camera
more
work, yeah.
cinematic,
Yeah.
I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
and how they are following shots. And Dan even said at one point, you even said it looked kind of like video game esque, but
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a good
Over
way.
the shoulder.
Right. Over
Yeah.
the shoulder.
Third person.
Yeah.
Third person perspective.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool to see, actually.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I don't know, like they did a lot of that in the one battle sequence where the camera was backing up through
Yeah.
the scene. So
Mhm.
like something's happening at this point, and then they back up, and then action happens, and then action happens. It was just really cool.
Yeah.
Like
it
they
was.
thought it through. It wasn't just like a static camera like this. It was actually moving.
Hey.
Boo to the
It just
camera
falls
person.
over.
It's like,
He has
clicks
such a
off.
steady hand.
It's like, what? You don't appreciate me?
right.
I'm out.
Just
Thank
explode.
goodness for tripods. I don't know about you guys, but when I try to hand hold a camera,
It's
it's
like,
Wow.
that's exactly what it is. Okay, we got a
Yeah.
comment on YouTube, but
Please save us.
that probably does it
Please.
for the non-spoiler section because everything else
Probably.
deals
Pretty
with
much. Yeah.
spoilers.
So,
It really
yeah.
does.
We liked it more than episode 1.
We'll do
Yeah.
the comment first, and,
and
then
we're gonna do the comment.
then we'll go into
and then we'll
spoilers.
transition.
You have been pre-warned.
So Tristan Rosas, I think that's how you say it, asked, "What would be one genre you would like to see in the Star Wars universe? Things like
Ooh.
murder mysteries, comedy-centric, or maybe even a musical."
Oh, musical.
They've done that a little bit in Rebels.
Right. Oh
They
my
did with
gosh.
Yeah.
AP5.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
well, that's a big question. So
That is a really good question.
who wants to answer that one first?
What were the choices again? I mean, I know
well,
we could do any,
examples. Yeah,
but
what
those are
would-
examples.
one
Yeah.
genre you'd like to see in the Star Wars universe? Things like murder mystery. Yeah, it's over there.
Oh,
It's on the
Comedy,
side there.
or maybe even a musical.
Okay, I didn't realize we could see that.
Can you read?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
One genre.
I'm hooked on phonics, kids.
for me.
Read words, kids.
Well, I think I could think of one that Nick's been talking about for a while.
Yeah. It was a
Horror.
Band of Brothers type
Oh.
military show.
Yep.
Yeah, that. Yeah. So like, what genre would that be though? Just a war epic?
It's like
Yeah.
war epic.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That would be. That would be.
Also, make it a series. Don't do movies. Like you could do a movie, but
Yeah.
I think it'd be better as a series.
unless
know?
you do it like, oh man, 1917
Yeah.
done
One
in
shot,
Star
one
Wars.
shot.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I
wow.
don't think
Oh
that
my
could be
gosh.
done.
Well,
Well, maybe
Well,
if
I
they
mean, it
pick
could
the
be
right
done.
place.
if they
Right.
picked the right place, they could.
But
Yeah.
it would be
It's Sam
so
Mendes.
The only
difficult.
problem is the special effects, like the
yeah.
blaster bolts and stuff. But
Oh
Yeah.
my
they
goodness.
have to post those in. But
Out of
Right,
yeah.
those, what do you think, Dan? Out of those, or
out of
any
those
genre you
well,
want?
let's say Nick. So what out of those three, Nick? Which one would you like? So I like your answer, but if you pick between,
But
let's
I
just say
don't like your answer.
murder
Okay.
mystery, comedy, or a musical. Let's just
Oh,
go with
man,
that as well.
I'm always a comedian.
You're always a we
yeah,
laugh.
no, I'd love to see
Comedy,
a comedy centric one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But not so like,
On the
outlandish that you're
Yeah.
like, this isn't Star Wars.
Yeah.
More like the two scout troopers from
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious as a show.
but
Get their own
it would
show.
have-
oh my gosh.
it almost, in some ways, for me, it almost have to be more like Taika Waititi version.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
he has some really great comedy,
He has
Dry
like
but he-
very
comedy,
dry
but he almost
comedy.
can
Yeah.
do epic at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
But
that's what it would be. Like.
It would be kind of like
exactly.
that. Yeah, because he directed the last episode, which was those two guys.
Yeah, right.
So
It was.
I mean,
and
yeah,
it was still epic.
Even mix those two, like the Band of Brothers type, but have comedy moments in it.
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be.
to lighten up the mood.
That would be great. Yeah.
That's the thing about Star Wars is that you can put it on that droid. Had some of the funniest moments, and then he had Scout Troopers, but
Right.
the droid as he was being rehabilitated by the guy
Oh yeah. By oh my goodness.
we've already forgotten.
No,
No,
never forget.
no.
Oh
Cool.
man, I just
Cool. Yeah.
Queel.
Cool.
Queel.
Quill.
Queel.
Quill.
I can't believe we forgot.
Quill.
Yeah, but when he was rehabbing the droid and reprogramming him, that was just some
hilarious.
funny
Yeah.
stuff, like montage. and
Drop the
He's
box on him.
Or
So-
just like,
Spoilers.
spoilers for that poor can that got crushed.
Poor
and then when he's
Ken.
like looking
Oh man,
looking at the Mando, he's like, T.
yeah, he's all nervous. 'Cause
Yeah.
he thought he was gonna shoot
I
him.
think out of those, they kind of have done a murder mystery in Clone Wars. They had that one like
Yeah.
detective
yeah,
guy
that's
in.
True.
It was kind of goofy though.
Yeah.
That was more like the comedy that kind of fit more with the kids show than it was like
Yeah.
a serious thing. But I think if they did a murder mystery, it would almost have to be more like Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Yeah.
In some ways, that's
Yeah.
kind of what Blade Runner is in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
like
like
a whodunit.
the harder side of like, but with some other things going on. But he's really a detective
Yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to figure
okay.
things out. But it's futuristic.
I've never
Right.
seen Blade Runner, so I can't
Yeah.
relate.
I
I've
mean,
seen
it's
both
definitely
of
not for
them.
kids.
Nice.
Again, it's definitely not for kids in any way. I've only seen
Wow.
it. I've only seen it once, and I watched the new one, Blade Runner.
2049.
And they have some
Mm.
epic graphics. That's kind of what I like about it. And the
Yeah.
feel, the tone is definitely murder mystery type.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Detective.
It's like a noir.
Yeah,
film.
noir. That's I
Noir,
kind
yeah.
of like
Yeah.
that style in
Huh.
a lot of ways, which I think that could be really cool
Yeah.
and could be done really well. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that would be my top pick.
You're
but
right. But they could do it.
Yeah,
You
they
just-
could
you find the right location or right set of people. Would it be a movie then, or would it be a show?
I don't know if you could keep it going as long.
a
I think
show.
it would probably be best as a
Probably be a
movie
movie.
if
Yeah.
you do it really well.
I think so.
Yeah,
Just a longer movie.
yeah, just a
Yeah.
longer,
So like
well
Clue,
done
but
movie.
in the Star Wars
that would be
universe.
yeah. But that's a genius thing
That's-
about it's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
you can do every genre in Star Wars. It just has to be done. Hasn't been done. Also, do a romantic comedy. I think
Yeah.
that would be hilarious.
Oh my
Do a
gosh.
romantic comedy
Yeah.
well in Star Wars.
Yep.
And
I don't know
then
how you'd pull that off, but it would be hilarious.
Tristan
Yeah.
commented again. I'd personally like to see something from the perspectives of normal citizens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe something like Free Guy, where it's someone who isn't a huge character to show a normal person.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that was a movie.
normal person's perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
good.
just like a regular
Average
human,
Joe.
and then all of a sudden, like some Jedi show up and like
Right.
wreak havoc,
What? Oh,
or
come on.
Sith maybe,
Right.
or
My cabbages.
yeah.
well, I think that's
Avatar,
maybe
last
something that
Avatar.
if they,
Not a
let's just say they
sponsor.
did a movie in the High Republic era,
Yeah.
because at that point everything's fairly peaceful. You might just be living on your planets before the Empire came and tried to dominate.
There's still
Yeah.
crime, of
There's
course.
still crime, but you're just on a
Right.
normal planet that hasn't been conquered, and
Yeah.
you know
yeah.
that would be pretty fascinating to see. Actually, I
It's
mean,
just, it's just like a guy that like works on like telephone poles, not telephone poles,
yeah,
but
the
like
most
but, like,
mundane
lights.
jobs.
Communication arrays.
like and then like lights are, and then like he's the guy who has to fix all the things that the Jedi
Right,
and the
yeah.
Sith and
Yeah,
like
right.
criminals destroy, and he's got to
Oh,
be
man.
like,
kind of
come on.
kind of like on
It's
Robot
like-
Chicken, the janitor at the bottom of the. What are they doing
Sorry.
up there?
Just keep falling. That was hilarious.
Apparently, Tristan,
Ooh.
all of our ideas turn into comedies.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. about
But yeah,
that.
no, that's a great idea. Yeah, and we were talking about that movie earlier, Free Guy. So it's perfect tie-in too.
That's
that
the
it could
new
just
one,
be
yeah.
an average guy, yeah, in the
Yeah.
Star Wars universe. It
Mhm.
would be nice to see that perspective. We haven't really
Yeah,
seen that
it would
so
be.
much. I
'Cause
mean,
they
we
tend
kind
to-
of the
yeah.
only one I would say that we kind of saw that in some ways but it still evolved into more would be Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Rogue One had a little bit of that because they were but they weren't really normal people. So
But
maybe
she
not.
was the
Just
daughter
never
of the
mind.
dude who
Yeah.
created the Death Star.
That's
kind
true.
of.
They were kind of
They
important.
were kind of important, but you're right. I mean,
Let's do a romantic comedy.
it seems weird to. I mean, technically, Rey was nobody. Oh, wait, no, we won't go there. I'm just kidding.
Don't open that one up.
So now, Tristan,
Rage
yeah,
quit.
I would say, out of those three, I'll just say musical.
Oh god.
I don't even really like
Mickey
musicals,
Mouse
but
shows
I
up.
would like to see a Star Wars musical.
That is probably the last one that I
Right.
want to see, unless it's done ironically.
Oh,
yeah, it'd have
gosh,
to be
I got-
ironical, like
I got a
Cats, but
video.
in Star Wars.
I got a video I got to show you guys after this.
Okay,
It's
sounds
hilarious.
good.
Has to do with Mickey Mouse.
Oh my
It'd
goodness.
have to be a
Star Wars.
droid musical.
Yeah, Gonk.
So only droids singing with their like AP5 comes out. That'd be hilarious. It's a comedy. It's obviously going to be a
And
comedy.
it would
musical
have to be
comedy.
directed by Taika.
And it had to
They're
be
all
Taika
doing
Waititi.
They're
Yeah.
all just singing,
for
and
sure.
then suddenly it goes to Gonk Droid, and he's like, Gonk, Gonk.
He ends
Yeah.
every song.
Oh my
Gonk.
gosh.
Yeah. I can't think of anything
Uh.
outside of that. This
Right.
The only other one I think that would be great too. Not that I love these kind of movies necessarily, but there's a book
horror
that was
movie?
done that was basically this Star Cruiser or this Empire. I keep doing that. Star Destroyer. That's what I'm trying to say.
Destroyer.
They were out kind of in the middle of nowhere, and they got infected,
Mm.
and it was basically zombie stormtroopers on the ship, and Han
snap.
and Chewie showed up on the ship to kind of investigate what was going on, and it kind of turned into like a horror movie.
Dude, they should do
in
a
lot,
comedy
horror in a lot of ways. That would be crazy. Yeah, Taika Waititi.
It
Just joking.
happens, yeah.
But I was like that. It was a very fascinating, condensed idea for the
Yeah.
fact that it just took place on this one Star Destroyer, and I always thought that was an interesting concept as
Right.
well. So you could do it all.
Yeah, you could. I was
You really
thinking,
could.
look at Marvel. You could do like a political thriller,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and
Mhm.
it ends in a courtroom or something, or
Right.
yeah,
you could
that
do
would be
something
cool.
along those lines.
Law
You
and
know,
Order.
less action, but
And-
maybe the normal dude would be in the in that world. Maybe
Right.
I don't know. I like
has to go to
courtroom
court.
drama. I do like some courtroom drama
Yeah.
when it gets there.
Yeah.
It's
I think
always
the
fascinating.
only tricky thing about some of these ideas though is because when you're dealing with serious topics, maybe putting that in the Star Wars universe might come off as more
Joking or
not
Yeah.
as serious. That's
That's
the
true.
only thing that
Right.
can be challenging.
'Cause,
So
yeah,
with
the-
all of them,
the
really.
defendant is some weird like alien slimy thing.
That's
that
why he
comes
would
in.
almost turn into a comedy for me.
Right.
Because he's just like, well, you ate Mr. Blorks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why'd you do that?
Why did you do that? Why did you eat
Yeah,
Mr. Blork's
That's
kid?
true.
know.
And then in the different
He did it, Your Honor.
planets
He
and the
did it.
different laws of all that, that'd be
But it would
that could be
you
weird.
could still expand the universe in that
Yeah.
way. It
Yeah.
could be a certain planet that deals with things in a weird way that makes it fascinating. to
So
watch.
we're coming up on 45 minutes, and we haven't talked about the episode much. So
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
time to jump in on spoilers. But
Thank
thanks for the
you, fact checker.
question, Tristan. I appreciate
Thanks for the
you
Kraken question.
joining in
cracking
with us and
questions.
keeping the comments and the conversation going, because it's brilliant. I like the
was,
thought.
Do them all.
We all like the
Just
thought.
do them all.
So we're jumping
do 'em
in.
all.
There's a
We'll do 'em all.
spoiler alert flashing up here.
It's up there.
It's on Nick's eyes. No, it's kind of Dustin.
Oh.
Oh, no, it's catching up to me. Okay. But anyway, we're going to spoil some of this episode. So if you have not seen this second episode of Clone Wars, mute us, but keep watching.
They all
Yeah,
died.
Hold on. Oh, I was holding that in
Too
for so
late.
long.
I couldn't contain it
We're-
any longer.
But we're going to talk for a few minutes here and probably end up at around the hour mark. And
There's a-
Alisan jumped in and said, I vote an adventure/romance.
Ooh, yes.
Maybe a young Obi-Wan
Yes.
Duchess Satine story.
Oh,
What?
yes.
He
Bombshell.
fell in love with her 'cause
Bombshell.
she had a jetpack,
Yeah,
which was a mobile
that would
high
be
ground.
a genius story because
Yeah.
that could be both. That could be Obi-Wan and her young. That's whenever they
Yeah.
fell in love, and it was an
Ah.
adventure. They
In
go off
love.
together. They fall in love, but they're torn because they have these duties they have to do.
It's like Princess
they have to
Bride,
poop.
but Star
Princess
Wars.
Bride, yeah.
No, that's
What is it
kind
with
of like
you and going
I
back
don't
to
know.
poop
I'm
every
sorry,
time?
potty humor every time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's kind of what they were doing with Anakin and
Yeah.
Leia,
Yeah.
or not Leia.
Wow.
What?
That got
Anakin
weird.
Anakin
and Padme.
Padme.
Yeah.
My apologies.
My apologies.
The Star Wars fans forget.
But
Right.
but done well.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that was rude. Again.
but done well.
But if they did it, yeah, they could do it really well and make it about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would be a really good story. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. Yes,
Man,
adventure
you guys are
romance.
on fire tonight.
Yes, these commenters are way.
And
We're just going to
fuego.
let them do the show. We'll
Yeah.
just turn
Yep.
the camera around and
See ya.
face it at you.
Yep.
Face you.
Hey.
That would be weird. It's just all
It would be
all
weird.
their video cameras turn on and then
It's
they're
like,
just
"Oh,
seeing themselves.
It's me now. How'd they do that?
How they do that?
Right.
This is an amazing show. Oh, the technology.
Do it.
But we're spoiling the show.
Stay on
and
target.
Yeah.
right at the beginning of the episode,
Here we go.
there's a funny moment as Anakin, just like, Rex, you gonna help me out?
So
We don't
weird.
have time for that.
Such
Joe.
a weird.
It was just weird.
It was
Like,
funny
you
though
coulda-
because
Mm.
we're like, oh, we don't know what they're doing, but then
Yeah.
Dustin figured it out.
Did I?
Yeah,
We all did eventually.
I wish they could just hear our commentary while we're watching.
Right.
we did record a little
we'll
bit
have
of
to
that. We're
release
like,
some
what
of
is
that
going
because
on?
we gotta
here?
It's
record
kind of
it.
funny.
It might be kind of dry though, because just us staring at a TV screen.
No, I mean like comments when we comment
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
certain
right.
things in the scene.
Yeah.
We'll work on that anyway.
Anyway, he has Anakin is doing a little more talking at the beginning, and then he goes and has a conversation. He borrows Rex's, right? His like
Yeah.
communication puck.
Is
thing,
that what it
whatever.
is?
Yeah.
Because he
And
takes
he took his helmet, so he must
Yeah.
have to have his helmet near the thing to activate it. Is
Yeah.
my thought.
Must
I-
be.
I don't.
He's got,
I
he's got
did,
better.
that didn't make sense.
better
but-
reception
think,
with
no,
it.
I mean Jedi have those. I think they have those
Well, why did he
communication
take his
devices, don't
helmet
they?
then?
So that was
I think
Anakin.
it
For
was
a-
just a
for a
MacGuffin
Obi-Wan?
type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case somebody shows up. I think
Yeah.
it really was.
What he's gonna put on the helmet?
No.
Yes.
It's just so he was inspecting his gear if they had that pre-established.
Oh, okay.
The plot was a little thin there. Let's just say
It
that.
It was razor thin.
It
They
didn't make a
they
lot of sense.
didn't
It
need
ended
to-
up working out, but I
They
think it
didn't
was.
need to make it so complicated.
Yeah, that's
for
I know,
him.
that's
Yeah.
it's
What
kind of
is
weird.
happening? It was a unique moment for sure. But he
Yeah.
did have a conversation with Padme, which did kind of further the story because he was like, something's going on with Rex. I think Rex might be putting his feelings into this. And then
Yeah.
Padme's like, well, you would be
Hmm.
one to talk
Yeah.
because obviously Anakin
Yeah.
loves to slash up a bunch of Tuskens.
Oh my god!
I thought you were going
But
somewhere
I don't think
else.
that's what she was talking about. was
No, but we know that.
we
We know that.
That's what she actually meant.
Right. Oh
We
my
knew that
God.
she was telling us, the audience.
We were listening to what she wasn't saying.
This is a multi-layer show.
Yeah, this is a
There's
super,
lot happening.
super
in
deep
this.
show.
We look into things so deep.
Yeah, we do. Oh my god.
Well, we know. We know.
On that bombshell.
Wow. And now that we dropped that bombshell, I'm still
Yeah.
trying to find the first
no,
one
I think,
we
yeah,
dropped.
because she was. Oh my god. Because she was talking about how she basically said how Rex is always by,
He's always right by his side.
right by his side. Maybe that's where you should
Yeah.
be, is what she says. But yeah, you're
Support
right.
him.
She was calling him out on how he's kind of headstrong, wants to go
Yeah.
straight into battle without thinking about things a lot of the time. You are correct.
Which
Seth.
is interesting that, I don't know. Yeah, hasn't Rex always been there by Anakin's side? I don't know why. It's like all of a sudden he's freaked out by
I
something
think.
that an
Right.
idea of Rex's. It's like, run with it.
He's getting
Yeah, I mean, usually,
Rexless.
yeah.
Rexless.
Oh, he'll be
man.
here all week.
Nick.
Literally, we're
But,
streaming all week. Thank you for joining and
Yes.
keep following.
Yeah.
No,
Is that what-
World
Keep
record
watching.
It
here.
was like a Robin Williams-esque thing.
Right.
Like the genie in
Yeah.
Aladdin.
yeah.
We'll
No,
be
but-
here all week.
I think what they're getting at a little bit is this is getting closer to the end of the war, and kind of what Rex is going through is because he's seen so many of his brothers
Yeah.
fallen.
Yep.
I think it's really starting to affect him more,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
and the fact and the idea that he knows that somebody he had to leave that he thought was dead, that if he would have known wasn't dead, he would have gone back for him if he could.
Yep.
So it's that idea that, oh man, I left one behind. I have to go get him.
Mhm.
I've seen too many brothers. I've seen too many people die. I have to go get him. And then that's, I think it's playing into a little bit more that Rex is getting. I think it's diving into his character that he's getting tired of this. That he's kind of over it in a lot of ways, and it's really starting to show its effect on him, and also his mentality closer to the end of the Clone Wars. I think
Mhm.
in a lot of ways,
Mhm.
and that's why I think
Yeah.
Anakin's like, Rex is more calculated usually than this,
Right.
and he's the one who's always the solid foundation
That's true.
behind Anakin.
Mhm.
For him to be the reckless one, I think
Chasing
is,
after a
Rexless.
rabbit trail
yeah,
or something.
is a little bit more concerning, and I think that's
Right.
why Padme was encouraging him. Well, just be by his side for this. You know, he
Mhm.
needs to go through this, kind of like you need to go through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Tuskens,
Tuskens. By the way, let's talk about those
sand.
Tuskens. But then Obi-Wan,
Rough,
after he had the
course.
conversation, he's like, "Oh, Obi-Wan's coming. Oh, he doesn't know that we're talking."
Right.
Because you're like, how did he not know that they were having a romance all this time? And you know,
Right,
we always
right.
said that.
Obi-Wan knew.
And Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
knew,
knows.
actually. In this
Yeah.
one, he comes out of
I
the
love that they said
quarters,
that,
And
yeah.
then
Yeah.
he's like, I hope you at least said hi to Padme
Padme
for
for
me.
me.
Yeah, and
He's
even
like,
when he was talking to Rex, it was
frumpy
kind of
face.
funny.
Yeah, he's like, you're going to have to do better than that.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna have to do better than that, Rex. So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he knew all along. Obi-Wan's not dumb.
He can sense it.
Spidey sense was
One
tingling.
of Dan's most classic lines.
He can
I
sense
use it every day.
I can sense it.
I can sense it.
But, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
was
The end of the episode.
That was a quick
And good night.
episode.
Goodbye.
But they definitely jumped in there. And then they went off to the mission, which was, as we learned in the first episode, spoilers, that maybe Echo, there's some signal from Echo out there,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, Echo's
Rex
still
wants to go
alive.
find it.
He
Yeah.
is
So they're trying to piece that together. They go to a new planet. We get to see them jump on their cool ship.
Gecko Minor.
How do you spell it again?
Skako
Yeah, there you go.
Minor.
Oh, there you go. You sure it's not ER?
Skako.
Skako. Why don't they say Skako?
Is it my Skako? Skako?
It's Skako. It's
Skeko.
Skeko.
I'm pretty sure it's OR.
It
It's
just
pronounced
rhymes.
Gecko.
It's
Gecko
pronounced-
Minor.
I think it's OR.
Lobster.
Lobster
They
mine.
kind of had lobster like the creatures, the aliens.
The
And
creatures.
lobster-like claws. Things.
Well, so they have, well, they had like their armor, like their weapon looked like a
Oh,
big
that's what it was,
claw
yeah.
of a
Like the Covenant.
Lobster. Lobster.
lobster. A colobster.
But Skako Minor, and they were the Poltex.
The Poltex
Poltex.
were the
The
alien
tent
race.
poles.
The aliens. Yeah, the tent poles. So they get to the planet. Of course, they're immediately attacked by these people that are so primitive, according to Tech, I think.
Yeah.
Did Tech say
Yeah.
they were primitive?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's so primitive. Of course, Tech is the techiest guy around, so everybody's primitive to him.
Yeah,
What do
true.
they call him? Tech.
But it's cool because they
They're very narrowed in on what they do.
Anakin
Even by their names.
Anakin had some moments in this one, but he finds himself abducted by the bird thing that they were flying
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And so
It was like
Poltex.
it was like a giant bat-looking creature
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing that carried him off.
It's almost
Very
like
Star Wars looking. That's the thing I love about Dave Filoni and the design team
Yeah.
with Clone Wars.
yeah,
All the stuff they come up with, it just fits. You don't have to really think about it
That's
being Star
true.
Wars. It just
Yeah.
feels Star Wars.
it does.
I like that.
Yeah, it's
I
weird.
always like when things feel Star Wars.
Mhm.
That's a
Star
big
Wars.
thing for me.
Feels Star Wars. This feels Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, but so he gets abducted. They go to the place. Wrecker
Rekka.
Rexlessly
Re-
follows him. No. Wrecker's the big
Hunter.
one.
Rex.
Hunter.
Oh, Hunt.
Yeah,
Hunter.
Hunter.
They showed their unique skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He
and
hunted him down.
Hunter Wrecker wants to fight, so it kind of provokes him a little bit.
Mhm.
Well, they
Yep.
kind of started it in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
those
they did.
but-
They kinda,
bird people.
Well, like depends. They went
scratched
to
the
their planet,
windshield.
then they came.
They didn't want the war.
but it came to them
But it came
anyway.
to them.
But yeah, so
Um,
and then the sniper shoots a thing.
Crosshairs.
Crosshair gets and then Hunter
grapple
jumps on.
thing,
He's
yeah.
like, "Where are you going?"
For a ride. And immediately breaks his back from all the whiplash.
yeah,
That's what
that
you're
was
talking
crazy. Yeah, he's like, I need some
Well, this is his gun,
rehabilitation.
too.
Right.
What a noob.
What
Yeah.
a noob.
He's not very.
He's
Nerd.
not. And then he
That's
shot
why he was
and
using
missed
his
like
knife
40.
so much.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you're hanging on with one hand.
Yeah.
Can't you shoot a bird while you're flying through the air? And apparently
I
not.
could with my teeth.
That would be impressive.
That is
So
impressive.
they get to the actual colony of these Poltex.
Poltec.
Poltex.
Look at that colony. Toy with it.
And they start communicating. That was a cool thing
You.
that Tech did. He used his communication helmet thing
Yeah.
to translate. Very Star Trekky,
Yeah.
where they
That was
go,
pretty
Yeah,
they
that
have a little
was.
thing, and they kind of, well, you can kind of do it on your phone now with
Yeah.
Yeah.
various,
Language translators.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was interesting
Applications.
how he figured that out so fast, though.
Right.
But he must have had some sort of translator with him, or was
Yeah.
able to decipher. That's basically what it was doing. It was deciphering their language in written form, which
Yeah.
I mean, they would have known the language. They would have known the planet because they knew the planet and they already knew that there were
So he probably downloaded
inhabitants.
a file. or
Yeah, so
something.
maybe he knew that was going to happen, so that,
Yeah.
he was prepared and was able to. But it was interesting how they showed it. They showed it in their native tongue, written out, and then
Yeah.
they showed it in Arabish, which is the basic
Basic.
in Star Wars.
Again, it
Yeah.
feels Star Wars.
Oh, yeah,
it just
yep.
puts you're like, oh yeah, they're using.
How did he know how to say those words?
That was the weird thing for me.
Yeah.
I
maybe
wonder if
it-
it's like an automated thing. It's just his voice.
his
It
is
could have
mind.
been. It could have been. Or he just,
Yeah.
since he's super smart, he could
Yeah.
just,
He's like, oh, this symbol makes this sound.
maybe it has enunciation
Right.
things to it in that,
that could be.
language. I don't know. Could be.
Could be like Data from. Is it Data that was or
Yeah.
C-3PO ish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Data's from
Data from Star
Trek.
But I
yeah.
mean, he was able to communicate. He just had all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, downloaded, which was like C-3PO, which is a
C-3PO,
communications droid,
yeah.
but they didn't have him, so they had
Mhm.
to figure out a way for them to communicate. And it was funny because when he started talking tech, it sounded like words just said backwards.
Yeah, it did
Yeah.
kind of sound like that.
did.
Yep.
Or aren't there some Star Wars languages that are just
Yeah,
English
they
backwards?
are,
Yep.
or sped up languages.
It actually sounded.
Yep.
I said it sounded Russian to me.
That's nice.
yeah.
So there you
It
go.
did. No, it did. It just it could have been like Russian backwards. almost,
Yeah.
or
That's
something like
that's
that.
what it felt like. But who knows?
Some
Russian
Russians out there are going to be like, "Hey,
backwards.
It was Poltech.
Hey, don't make fun of our language.
Sorry, we don't say.
we don't say
We don't say
We
Russian.
don't say Russian.
We know speak it of Russian.
we last week we messed up Spanish, Italian,
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
all kinds of Australian.
Go watch. It is a
Today-
good time.
yeah.
Today we
It's
messed up
always a good time.
Russian. Actually, they tried to use Russian on the show, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was actually. So, but anyway, they finally communicate and they let the people know, hey, we're not here to take over your place. And they're like,
Yep.
well, we don't want the war.
The war didn't. We
Yeah.
didn't bring the war. It
So
was
they decide to help them out.
Wat Tambor.
Yeah, they're just like
Yeah.
we want to find our lost soldier and get out, basically get
Get
of
out.
here. So we're not here to like start nothing,
Yeah.
except for we're starting something, but only for a
Yeah.
small time.
Yeah. But it was
Yeah.
cool because that's the way that the Jedi and they do it. They're obviously not villains.
Right.
Yeah.
The bad guys would have just
Yet.
held them at gunpoint and said, take us to this person or we'll kill you all.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So they were able to work with them and they gave them, assistance to get to what was the place called that they went to find, I don't know,
I forget
the base
now,
or whatever it was. The
there was
building,
those giant like tower things that they
Yeah.
had into, which is really
spires or whatever they were.
pole tech.
Poltex.
Poltech.
Pole techs. They built giant poles.
The tent
Right.
poles. That's what they
call
were.
Poltech.
yeah,
Yeah.
Some
They are
things in Star Wars, it's very literal.
Poltex, yeah.
Yes.
You
So-
build giant poles. Your razor's called pole tech.
So
Poltech.
then, yeah, I mean, if you saw the
We build
episode,
pole.
we're not going to continue to go step by
Step by step, which we
But we're
kinda
trying
already
to
have.
pick out some of the
We already-
highlights,
yeah.
and there were some cool fight scenes that we talked about
Yeah.
earlier. On once they finally got to the place and worked their way, they said, "We'll split up. We'll find it." They realized that you can't. He can only hear the communication because he kept losing the signal.
Yep.
And he said, "Oh well, we can only hear the signal when he's communicating." Obviously,
Yeah,
I
which
don't
is
know why I
smart.
didn't think
They're
about that.
communicating.
Cool.
So very Star Wars thinking there. Tech came up
Yes.
with the answer, and then they were able to figure out his location based on that. Eventually,
Yeah.
of course, he told him not to hurt anybody, right?
Yeah,
No
Rex.
casualties.
No, Anakin.
Anakin.
Anakin
They were trying to keep it.
technically outranks them all.
Or was he saying that about the first
village
people?
people.
Okay, village. So they succeeded there.
No, and then he said it when they were going up the lift.
They were
They
trying to
said,
be
"Remember,
stealth.
Oh,
this
be
is
yeah, be
stealth,"
quiet. Nobody knows we're here.
Which they kind of said that in the last one too, and then
Yeah.
of course they don't listen. And
Anytime they
just do their
say,
own thing.
"Let's try and be stealthy," it's going to
Yeah.
Wrecker's
noise.
automatically like,
anytime
I
you
have to
have
kill.
yeah, anytime you have Wrecker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of Wrecker, earlier in this episode,
Oh yeah, when they were
it
getting
has
there.
a great line because
Yeah.
they, the thing's pulling Hunter along, and then he kind of lands on this high peak.
Yeah.
So then they follow and they meet up with Hunter,
Mhm.
and they're like way up high.
yeah.
And it's just funny because what does he say? He says, he's
He's like, oh, you got a problem with
no,
height?
because they were talking that they would have to go up in the tower. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
is after that. This is after the scouts from the village takes them to where that place at Wat Tambor is located.
Mhm.
What guild is he with? He's with the tech
The Techno Union.
Techno Union. Yeah,
Okay.
which is interesting. But yeah,
For
they
music.
say they're gonna have to go up in the big tower, and he's like,
Oh, higher.
I'm not scared of anything.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, but when I get up high, or what does he say? He
Yeah,
said,
he says, when I'm up high, I have a little problem with gravity.
yeah, I have a problem with
Because
gravity.
he said he's
Yeah.
not scared, but he just
When
has
he
a
gets
problem with
way up-
gravity.
Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
problem with gravity, which is a great way to put it.
Right.
I
Which
feel
is
the
huge.
same way in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
Yeah.
That
higher-
way specifically.
Really pulls you down.
Really pulls you down.
Oh, we'll be here all
Oh,
week.
man.
Keep watching.
But
Darn
turn off your
gravity.
TVs.
I don't believe in gravity, but if I jump off a cliff, I'm still going to the bottom.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. That's
Oh,
why I like
man.
swimming. To me, not as scary because I can come up for air. Falling,
There's not a lot you can do.
you can't do anything.
That's why you just enjoy the ride. I might die. I
Bring
might
a
live.
parachute.
Yeah, bring
Yeah.
a parachute everywhere.
Always
Just
have a
always
parachute.
have a parachute on. It's ready to go.
We need
We're in
anti-gravity belts
Death
already.
Valley. I need
Yeah.
a parachute.
What I want
Parachute.
are those things that they
We're
had
falling right now.
in
Yeah.
those backpack things that they did have in Bloodline when they were doing their hiking and their mountain climbing.
Oh yeah,
there were
they did
suits when
have-
they fell that the suits basically just expanded and they protected them. It created this like
Yeah, they
airbag
had-
around them.
It
Yeah.
was like a force field, wasn't
yeah,
it? Like a
was
force
Star
field type
Wars-y, yeah.
shield
Mhm.
Yeah.
that kept them
Force field
safe.
shield.
Yep. So they fell however
Copyright.
far, and they were able
Trademark.
to, brace it. It was like a personal airbag.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really cool.
That's what I need.
You're a person.
That's what I need. That's what
You're
we
a
all need.
person.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
New insult.
man.
Yes.
Personal
They're,
airbag.
they're coming in hot
I love
tonight.
making fun of my friends.
So then there was a cool battle that progressed, and then they finally got to the room at the end of the hallway, which if they had just asked somebody for directions, they would have
Right.
found it.
The
Right
door.
before that, though, was funny. Wrecker. They came running in, and then they threw a bunch of droids off the edge,
Oh,
and the droids were just like, "Why?"
Oh my gosh.
That was very Clone
I
Wars.
think part of that what made that so funny, and maybe we wouldn't have even realized it, was because we had subtitles on,
Yeah.
and it said "Why?"
And I liked the way the
That was
physics
hilarious.
worked. They were really rubbery.
Yeah, they were
as they're
like
flipping over.
"Whoa."
Like their arms were up and their legs were out. And they were just flipping.
Those are some different droids
Yeah.
too. Totally
Yeah.
different. It must have
Yeah.
been like a Techno Union style, but it still
They were
had like
trying to update.
yeah, it was
the
interesting.
droids.
I like that it was a difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, it wasn't just the same old.
Yeah,
but
new
because
design.
it was Techno Union. They have their own style,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I hadn't seen that
No.
before.
That's new.
You know,
It is
I like
Totally.
new things in Star Wars that are
Yeah.
done
Yeah.
right.
They
When they're done right,
They
not
went
done
wrong.
wrong.
They go by round you.
Hey!
Hey,
I can't do it. My voice is
a
garbage.
dragon.
Squeaky.
Your voice is a dragon.
All that cold fresh air you had to hike through to get here.
Yeah,
And
it was
All
when
those
you were
tom
yelling at
toms.
Luke. I'm not Ben.
I'm not. Who's Ben?
Who's Ben? You want help?
Dagobah.
Oh man.
Oh, stay on target.
Well, thankfully, in the spoiler section here, we're gonna spoil the ending, which was kind of cool, and it was a climactic end actually,
Mm-hmm.
because they did locate. Well, Wat Tambor was it that came on the
Wat
screen? And is
Tambor.
like, forget about it. We got your guy.
Yeah. He's
He
dead.
is dead. We just use his brain.
Yeah.
You're so
Yeah.
predictable.
He's like ours. His brain is ours. Is that what he said, or something
yeah, his
like
brain
that?
is ours. Like,
Mine is
oh,
ours.
this
His
is gonna
mind
be
is ours. Yeah, that makes more sense.
interesting. And then they actually find him, and it's very very much like
Yeah,
Darth Vader or the
Yeah.
Emperor
like
hooked
Darth
up to a bunch
Maul,
of
like
Darth Vader
dead
type
looking.
situation. Because he doesn't have legs. They're electronic legs.
Are they?
Yeah, they were electronic legs, or at
Okay.
least one of them was.
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is
maybe.
interesting. It was just really interesting. It was like he was plugged into the Matrix. Definitely his mind isn't completely there. They're just
Right.
pulling
Yep.
information out of it
Well,
for
I mean,
tactics and stuff like that.
And
But-
he like doesn't remember anything besides.
yeah, besides, because the first thing he says is we have to get, out of the Citadel. And he's like, no, I'll go first. So
Yeah.
obviously his mind is going to be fragmented. We've also seen that in, spoilers, Rebels.
Yeah.
They've shown that. And that this is kind of bridging the gap and kind of showing how things kind of
Yeah.
work out for them to get from here to there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have a
We have
YouTube.
YouTube comment.
comment.
Yeah. Aaron
YouTube.
Latuzik, I think is how you say the last name.
Yeah,
I
Latuzik.
cannot
Latuzik.
wait to see Ahsoka's point of view when Order 66 takes place.
That is
Yes.
a great point.
Wow.
Thank you for commenting, Aaron.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah,
watching.
That's
Thanks for watching.
stay safe in the Hothian weather if you're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hothnian
or
weather.
not. Maybe
what it's
you're in
called,
someplace
Hothian?
warm. I
don't
talked to
know.
somebody earlier that was in
Oh.
Florida, and they were like,
Was
hey,
it
it's
Hothian down
nice.
there?
No, they said it was beautiful. They said,
So
too bad
it
for you.
was.
We're
Wow.
looking at palm
Felucian.
trees, and I'm like, hey, good luck. Those
Hey,
palm
good luck.
trees, They'll get
Don't-
you.
Look,
Look out for those coconuts.
you have it more dangerous
Yeah,
than we
It's
do.
way worse for you.
Exactly.
Watch out for that hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Ooh, here it comes.
that is a great point. I cannot
Yeah,
wait. To
I don't know how
see-
they're going to do that.
Because it's so
Yeah.
interesting because they're bringing Ahsoka back, but she's already left the Order. So this is after
Yeah.
she's left the Order, but she's coming back to help
Yeah.
help the Jedi Council and the Republic to basically be the general of the not siege, is it the Siege of Mandalore? Yeah, it is the Siege of Mandalore. And that's going to be really interesting how they tie that all together. I wonder if
Right.
they're actually going to show Order 66 in this.
Maybe.
It's
I'm
gonna
not
end
sure they're
with
going to,
execute.
but maybe.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Execute.
Oh, sorry, we shouldn't go too much. We'll get copyright
copyright.
infringement.
I mean, is
Or
it
if your
okay if
video
I'm
is
doing it if
rated.
it's off key?
You could do it backwards. And off key.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
That's what we've been waiting
I
for.
think I'm dying.
That's what everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah.
That's still just doing it.
In reverse.
Didn't work.
I've got a guitar over there. I could fake it, but we'd probably
Get
We would get in
Sued.
trouble.
and good night.
and
And good night. And good luck.
One of these times we're gonna open the show with us playing a bunch of instruments.
Oh, yeah.
We're just gonna
very,
do it.
very poorly.
No,
And
it's gonna be
We'll be our own
epic.
band, and we'll be like,
You know I
"Thank
can't
you
play
to what was the name of the band in the thing?
the modal
Mortal,
What are their
Mortal?
names?
Modal.
Modal nodes? No, nodal modes?
yeah,
Modal
modal
nodes.
nodes is their name, but I don't remember the beginning part.
So we'll do it like a late show. We'll come out and Nick will do his
Yep.
monologue, and then like it'll be Dustin and me
That
and
would be
Nick
great.
like over there.
Give me
playing
something on the
thing.
drums there, Dustin.
Yeah.
Every time you make one of your
Right.
great jokes.
Yeah.
I love your jokes.
Oh
My
man.
face.
Yeah.
Is a joke. No, I'm just joking.
So
What is
it was overall a good episode, right? Are we still there? We're excited about Order 66 and to see what
Figure
Ahsoka
and Dan
does.
and the modal nodes.
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah, that's how it's spelled. Yeah.
And the
It
modal
fits perfectly.
nodes.
It's Dan.
It's Dan.
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 What was the first word again?
I don't know.
Figrin.
Figrin Dan.
Sounds like Lord of the Rings
Oh.
almost.
Yeah.
Figrin.
Figrin.
Do you think they
Figrin.
know about second breakfast?
Dan. What about third?
Where's an apple?
Your mic peaked.
Oh
Dustin's
my
mic
goodness.
went. Bloop.
Sorry about that. Anyway,
Uh,
great
just
comment.
Yeah,
and
thanks
we love this episode.
Mm.
It was a
We
good
love all
episode.
episodes.
for
I like this episode. Did you guys like this episode?
I did like this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see where it goes. We're just
Yeah.
kind of, I think it's going to be maybe a 3 or 4 episode arc.
Yeah.
Usually they do about 3 episodes. So this
Yeah.
one kind of seems like it's, or they could just end it here, honestly.
This
Yeah.
could then they could move along to the next planet
Yeah.
or not.
There's so much to see.
But I'm glad to
Also-
see him. You know,
Du-du-du-du.
his at one point, they started fighting because they're like, "Hey, you're letting your personal feelings get in the way," and they were
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
That
They
was
were really
interesting.
kind of putting Rex down and like he's crazy, and
Right.
so he got his justice.
Just
Yeah. And I
He
like,
did. I mean, I was glad that he was able to find Echo, and
Yeah.
It was
resolve
nice.
that
yeah,
part
and
of
that
the
he was
story.
actually alive, and I
Is
think
it
that was
actually
a
Echo though?
that was a good character development for. It was like something he needed.
yeah,
Yeah.
He needed to get that. You know,
yeah,
'cause
and that's a
so many of them
huge-
had died. You know, there
Yep.
was Fives, there was Echo, there was.
Well, spoilers.
sorry,
Even
Well,
if he's
that's the
fragmented.
Clone Wars. It's been out.
Yeah, it's intense. But there's a
Go
lot
back and
of-
watch the Clone Wars. It's great.
A lot of
Yeah.
death in the Clone
In
Wars.
this
A lot of unfortunate.
death?
things,
A
unfortunately.
lot of deaf people.
A lot of death.
I can't hear anything.
A lot of
For all
deaf-
you visual
deaf people.
listeners
Oh,
out
yeah.
there.
All you visual listeners.
That's what we
Sorry,
said
we're
last-
not making fun
This
of
podcast
No,
is
we're not.
specifically.
Sorry.
This podcast is specifically for visual listeners.
you. Yeah.
visual listeners.
Visual listeners.
They're
only.
lip readers. They can
That'll be
read
our catchphrase.
They can lead our rips.
Like dyslexia. That's called dyslexia.
Well, actually, they can't read mine because mine's always.
Yeah, I
in
know,
front of
that's
us.
the
Yeah, I know.
problem.
Me too.
We're not-
We
we're
always
not good
hide.
about that.
You can't read my lips.
But we can hear you.
Yeah, really loud actually when I did that.
we can hear you.
That was implied.
Oh
The
man.
dog,
Well,
alongy.
Yeah,
I guess I
can
I
shut
was
the
gonna. I was gonna say one more thing. Sorry about that.
Spoiler
So
alert
last
or
thing
no?
though.
I like how Dave
Spoiler
Filoni
alert.
does this and how they and George Lucas have been doing this.
Yeah.
They've been placing little things for that are a really good through line for
Yeah.
everything, like with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and how Padme shows up, and also she looked slightly pregnant, but at this point she doesn't know. I mean, he doesn't know that she's pregnant at this
She
point.
just got done eating a lot of food.
Yeah, don't guess at that ever.
ever. Yeah, right. I
When's
shouldn't.
that?
But I'm pretty sure.
baby do?
I'm pretty sure she is at this point.
The pandas.
I'm pretty sure she is at this
A
point because I
panda's
think
at the zoo.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think she
she
is,
is.
too. Well, it depends.
Maybe.
If she is,
I would say
she might be. I don't know.
I agree.
If there is, then there's definitely.
But he
less
doesn't
than
know
9.
about it yet. Because
Right.
in episode 3,
yeah.
that's the first time he finds out.
Yeah.
So
But if she is pregnant, that narrows the time gap here.
it does. That's what I'm saying. It's getting close.
This
it's
whole
really close.
season might take place in a week.
It's true.
Whoa.
I
It's
love
very
our
linear.
pauses.
Awkward moments.
Awkward
But what I was
pauses
saying
tonight.
though is they're kind of alluding to a lot of different things over time, but they're
Yeah.
little small things like how Obi-Wan said, "Say hi to Padme for me," which is
Mhm.
like, okay,
He already
he's-
knows what's
he's
going on.
definitely knows what's going on at this point. And all Anakin does is look back. He stops, realizes that he knows what he's doing, and then looks back, and then just keeps going. So
Just
it was like
frumpy face.
there's a lot of subtle things
Yeah.
going on, and
Yeah.
also with Rex and how he's dealing with things with Anakin and the Bad Batch. Also, I saw something with the Bad Batch. This might be a spoiler, but I don't think it is. But there
Just
is
in
a
case.
special forces unit after Order 66, and I think they're called Clone. I don't know if they're called Clone Force or if they're called Task Force 99. And they look super similar to all these guys.
Oh yeah, they already said that.
Did they?
This one was clone.
No, I know
Group 99.
I know, but I saw somewhere online that it looked like it was this
it's
is what
probably
becomes
them.
It turns
And-
into they
and
turn into the clone
the
force. or task
from the Emperor. There are specifically being
Yeah.
and this one they kind of alluded to who do you answer to, and they
Right.
never said.
Yeah.
They don't know. I don't think. And is that going to be
They're
the
just
Emperor?
mercenaries.
Are they
Probably.
are they just answering to the Emperor?
Wow.
That would be really interesting. I mean, because they are
Maybe-
clones, so and that was already done and executed by
Wow.
Dooku, who was told to do it by Sidious.
What if they turn on
Which is the
Anakin
Emperor.
and all the dudes by the end of this series?
I don't know. I don't know if the. Yeah, I mean, it could.
That could happen.
Depends on the timeline.
But I just thought that was an
wow,
interesting
that is
point that I
interesting.
saw. That it really
Yeah,
connects
that's-
there.
That really,
Maybe Anakin uses the Bad Batch in Order 66.
Could, yeah.
maybe.
So many possibilities, and that's what
Right.
I love
So many
about the show.
possibilities, and that's
Because it
Filoni
ties in
for you.
seamlessly.
I love how Filoni just takes all these little nuggets, and
Yeah.
you know he doesn't just put them in there
No.
for no reason.
Dude, he's
Everything-
like,
That's why you got to watch and rewatch the episodes because
Yeah.
you see new things and
he's like a super genius.
yeah.
He knows where he's heading.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
ties
He has an
everything
idea.
together. That's why he should have been in charge.
Well, and this has been story. What do they call it?
Storyboarded.
Storyboarded for years.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
they
has,
have
yeah.
that. So they have an idea. They know where they want to go. Eventually, they're going to get into Siege of Mandalore, which I have a feeling is going to be at least 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes.
I
I don't
hope.
know.
I hope.
I mean,
Oh,
they
it's
might
gonna
go
be
there
fun.
next.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So that's going to be amazing
I keep
With
just wanting to see these
Maul.
episodes live. Sorry,
with Mr. Maul.
Mr. Maul. You're right. That's going to be awesome.
Mr. Maul.
I just want to see these episodes live action. Every time you you talk about it,
Yeah. Oh my.
I can't help
Dude,
but
it'd be
looking
sweet.
at it like,
Yeah.
oh man, we need to watch this live action.
Oh yeah, Alisan said the Bad Batch seems shady for sure, so that would make sense.
Yeah,
The
good
only one
point.
that seems kind of
Thank you for the comment.
okay is Hunter.
Yeah,
he
seems
seems
cool.
level-headed.
he does
Mhm.
seem like the most level-headed and is able, with his level-headedness, to
Keep the
kinda
other
keep
ones
the
in-
other ones
yeah.
in line.
The other ones are
Yeah.
just loose cannons.
Yeah,
Especially
they are.
Wrecker.
They would go.
Wrecker and-
yeah,
And Crosshair is just like got a bad attitude
Yeah.
towards all the regs.
All the
the
red.
regs. You're right.
And
Yeah.
Tech
what
is
motivates
just
them?
on his own planet.
Yeah, yeah.
What motivates them? We don't
I
know.
That's the weird
Money?
thing.
Is it just
I don't think
Killing?
so. I
They
think
just
it's-
like to kill.
I think they just.
killing? and-
I think they've been engineered specifically to do dirty work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
a
don't
lot of
really
ways.
have emotional attachments.
And that's why
they get
I think
excited
that's
when there's
also
a job
part of the
that-
reason that they're called the Bad Batch. It's almost
Yeah.
like a double meaning. It could be the Bad Batch that they were like they had imperfections but desirable imperfections, but also the Bad Batch that they do bad things.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Like they're kind of like anti-heroes.
Yeah,
in a way.
in a way,
Or,
yeah. Or they
uh,
just do like the stuff that nobody else
Yeah, what
can.
is it? What is it
Suicide
called?
Squad or-
Yeah. No, it's
the Dirty Dozen,
Yeah, they're just yeah.
Deadpool.
They're
Seven
just
Samurai.
they're just a dirty. They do all the dirty work,
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
and they're okay with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost what they were
Yeah.
engineered to do in some ways, or
Yeah.
their traits made them that way that they
Yeah.
could do it. They
Mhm.
could get it done, but they were also still kind of expendable.
Yeah, I would
Right.
think so.
But they have 100% success rate.
Yeah.
Just
That's what was
crazy.
crazy. But they also did say in the first episode they don't always agree with their method
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, they're unethical. That's what it is.
Which kind of reminded me of
Unethical, yeah.
Krell. I don't want to go into that too much, but Krell from the Clone Wars, he had a really good success rate. But
Oh yeah,
he had the highest
general
casualty
guy or whatever.
rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I won't ruin that one because that is one of my favorite
That
arcs.
is an
Mhm.
amazing arc.
But anyway,
That's intense. Edge of your seat. And
Yeah.
Allison
Edge of
said,
your seat.
and you'd think the Jedi would want to use their special abilities, so the fact that they're in their own troop and don't answer the Jedi seems odd to me too.
yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Mhm. They're
That's-
renegades, man.
Yeah, the Jedi don't really trust them, maybe? I don't know.
And maybe
I
he's
mean,
building
who
up
would?
more special. They can, and like I think people have talked about before, they could help become the ones in Fallen Order. What are those
The
guys?
Purge
The
Troopers?
Purge Troopers. They
Yeah.
could be kind of a precursor. The
Yeah, but
Purge
are-
Troopers that
are
are designed
Purge-
specifically to deal with Jedi.
Are Purge Troopers clones though?
I don't know. I don't think they've stated
No.
they're not clones.
I mean,
Oh, you don't know?
I don't
okay.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but good points. Thank
Good
you for
points.
commenting.
Thanks
again.
for commenting on those.
We
Hopefully
got some
you
good feedback tonight. You
Mm,
guys
got
are the
some
best.
really awesome questions and comments. Thanks for talking with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're excited to talk with you. I think
Always.
for anybody that lives or anywhere near us, they're pinned down tonight because it's quite blizzard-like.
Right.
And
On Hoth.
hey, that's what we get when it's almost
Hothians.
March in Hoth.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
Do we have a shot of Hoth?
Do you? How
Oh,
do?
Yeah, we should.
There it is, right there.
Current view of Hoth.
Just point the camera outside.
Now on to our
Oh.
weathercaster.
No
Dustin.
weathercaster.
It
Ben.
is still. It's still.
And as you can see, it is
Daytime.
white.
It is cold.
It's
Is that a
daylight.
snow
How's it look
speeder?
out there?
Yeah.
It's
Snow
cold.
speeder
It's
out there?
cold.
I don't know. I can't make it out.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Well,
yeah.
it's awful out there.
This is brought to you by Moisture Farming.
Moisture farming on off. No,
Have we
it's
got
brought to
that
you
out
by
yet? The
this-
moisture farming commercial.
No, we got to do
We
that.
gotta
do that. We gotta do that,
We
yeah.
got to do that.
Oh
Don't worry.
my
Don't you worry
goodness.
about it.
That's a
Anyway,
funny
so
one.
back to the episode though. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah,
You guys liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it. Good
Yeah,
episode.
I definitely
Solid.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good.
I'm gonna watch it again
Food.
and really digest it again
Yeah.
because it's
He
like
eats
they're-
every episode.
I
we watch.
eat them all. They're fun to watch.
multiple times.
I was actually eating, not a sponsor,
Oh my
some
goodness.
cereal
Why would you
during the
do
episode.
Now
So
people are
I'm
gonna be like,
digesting
"Oh,
as
he
I
eats-
digest.
He eats those.
So we double digest here on the
Double
Star Wars
We
Stay on
are
Target.
cattle.
Yeah. We are cattle.
Like that double
We
digest.
chew and chew.
No.
No, anyway, but they're fun because they're short episodes,
Yeah.
and they're easy to watch.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. You're
And-
in, you get a good story, and you're out.
Yeah, and it's Disney Plus, so you can loop it.
Or
Now
you
we can
go ahead. Sorry.
we can binge the 2 episodes.
Woo!
Yeah, and that's the other thing
24
I was just
hour.
gonna say. Yeah, you can get in and watch an episode if that's all you want to watch. All right, cool. That was awesome.
Fine.
Star Wars. That's my Star Wars fix for 20-some
Yeah.
minutes. Otherwise, you could keep binging the whole rest of the thing,
Dude,
which
yeah,
is great.
exactly.
Lots of story
I mean, could
development. Lots
you-
of stories done
Totally.
very well.
how many weeks
That-
are they
that-
releasing these? I don't know.
Is it going to
How
be
many-
12 straight?
12
Is it
weeks?
12 episodes?
12 episodes.
Dude, you
12
could watch
episodes.
like the whole series and then watch the whole last season
Yeah.
because it'd all be, it would all come out.
Yeah.
After you were done watching the other.
Oh,
part of the
okay.
series. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't actually know.
You could take
So-
some time and watch the rest of the series first, and then
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
oh,
Getting the
look,
time you
I
got
go right
there.
into season 7.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. By
Yeah.
the time you get done watching all of the
There's a
Clone
madness
Wars,
to my method.
by the time you get done watching all of the Clone Wars, the season 7 is
Yeah.
going to be done.
I mean, unless you
Yeah.
can
And then
watch
you
it
just
in like a
watch
week.
yeah.
Let me pull up
Yeah.
that
that possible?
that graphic here of
Some people binge watch I saw online some people binge watched the whole Clone Wars.
oh my goodness.
Like they took a whole weekend.
Yeah.
And they watched
Wouldn't that
every
be a
single
long weekend?
episode.
That's how many episodes are in a season?
There's how many total episodes are there of the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
10,000.
Fact checker,
And how
if you can
much-
find that out.
How many?
No pressure.
How many minutes is that? Because that's a lot.
A lot of minutes.
A lot of minutes. That's literally like staying up all day.
I don't think we should try and do the math
Oh.
here.
So here we are back to episode 3.
So fact,
Yeah.
Oh, fact checker's got a fact.
there's 121 episodes.
121
How-
episodes.
How many minutes per episode?
Like
Good
20
grief.
Come on, you got to know this stuff.
24.
Let's just say
Kiridax.
Kira
That's what those flying things are
On the
called.
wings of the Kiradax.
On the wings of
so.
That's gonna be the next song.
Right.
We're
On
always
the
trying to figure this stuff
wings
out.
of the-
So 2,900 minutes, give or take.
Wow.
How many
Which
hours?
Divide that out.
I can do that. I got a calculator.
2,900-ish minutes
Welcome
divided
to-
by 60.
Staying on math. Star
48
Wars.
hours.
That's 2 days.
Star Wars edition.
2 days,
2
nonstop.
days.
That's 2 days
Nonstop.
nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying
so
up
They
Saturday
took a whole weekend to do that.
So
and
Let's
watching
do it.
through
Let's
Sunday
do it,
Just
guys.
do it.
into Monday morning.
And let's live stream the whole thing.
the whole
my
thing is just
gosh.
sleeping. Yeah, on the
Oh
weekends
my
of Kira Dax is next week. So does that mean they're going to stay on the same planet?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah. Like I said, they're usually 3 arc episodes for the
Yeah,
most part because
you're
that
right.
adds up to be.
And so that would
Mm.
mean 4, 5, and 6.
And Echo was an ARC trooper.
Gone with a trace, deal, no deal. Interesting.
And then Friday.
Yeah, Howie
April
Mandel
thir-
shows up on episode
Yeah.
6.
He's a special guest, Howie Mandel.
That'd be so
That'd be funny if he
hilarious.
voiced the character.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
if it
Oh,
like
man.
looks exactly like him and he voices him.
That would be
Oh
awesome.
my gosh.
That's what
Wow.
we were talking about earlier. It's just like average people. It's not like a game show on
Right.
in Star
oh,
Wars.
man, that's what I want
Yeah.
to see.
the
I want to see
HoloNet.
a game show.
Yeah, that's
Oh
the
my
next
gosh.
genre.
Yeah. Well, they are doing the game show with the guy that played Jar Jar.
Jar Jar.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
They actually are
yeah,
doing a
what's
his
Star
name?
Wars game
Ahmed
show.
Best, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So
Is he going
wish
to be Jar Jar?
granted.
I don't think he's gonna do Jar Jar
I don't think so.
Hey.
unless it's Darth Jar Jar.
Darth
He did do
Sidious?
that in one of his interviews.
Did he
Yes.
really?
It was
Yeah,
so
he did.
funny. He did a voice of Darth Jar Jar. He's like, they
was
were asking him,
hilarious.
like, what would he sound like if you were to do Darth Jar Jar? And he did it, and I was like, that's awesome. They
That's
should have done that. They
great.
should have done that.
What if he was just What if
It
he was
was-
just a
it was
shapeshifter
amazing.
and that's the shape he took?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. To see
Yeah.
some
can see.
some consider to be unnatural. He doesn't say that in his Sith voice, but
No.
no,
No.
you have lost.
Did you guys laugh at that? Did you guys laugh at that part in the theaters?
Yeah,
I cracked
one?
up when he's like, no.
no, you have
Nobody else laughed. And I was like, what's wrong with
That's
you
because
people?
you're weird.
Because it was hilarious.
No,
Dark
just
sense
the
of
way
it
humor.
was fun. He does
said
it so well.
Yeah.
Like it's so over the top, but you love it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I love
Yeah.
about him. It's like 2 alter egos. It's like he's
Yeah.
like a smooth talker,
Smooth politician.
politician,
Smooth criminal.
and he just plays it well. Seems like a good, you
Yeah.
know. And then he switches, and he's just like,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
it's just like what happened to this dude?
power.
Oh,
Some
man.
dude.
I'm
That's it.
weak.
I want to capture that sound effect
Don't
that
let
they
him
use
kill me, please.
when he
Meow.
launched all that lightning up into the atmosphere and
my
short. I want
Yep.
I want that sound effect.
That was
when
a
we
cool
come
sound
on the
effect,
show.
yeah,
It's like,
right.
How you guys doing today? That's what I want.
Why don't we just make that? that noise?
Just do it every time.
Maybe we should.
Sorry for all you
Okay.
audio
listeners.
watchers out there.
Like you're peeking everything.
Sorry.
Everything's peaking.
Peking duck.
No, actually, it's not. But it sounds pretty good. So thank you all for joining us. I think
Yeah, I think
we're gonna.
We've
Get
been
outta
trying to
here
end
before-
this for so long.
This is what we do anyway. We just sit
We
around
just
and
did a
goof off.
digressing into madness. Great episode. It was a great episode. tonight. I
Great
loved it.
episode.
And I
Yeah.
can't wait for the next one.
Can't wait
Yeah.
for episode 3, which is next week.
Yeah,
Next-
so
next week.
set your calendars, people.
Happy whatever we are. Is it
Cinco
Set
de
your
Mayo.
calendars.
set your
Is
calendars?
that how you say it?
They will have to
Set
spring
your
ahead though.
And on that bombshell,
Yeah.
leap day.
Yeah, and it's
Wow.
leap day tomorrow. So
Leap with us.
Happens
into
leap.
tomorrow.
only once in how many years? 4 years?
yeah,
Everybody gets a bonus day.
it's a
Bonus
bonus
day.
day. Yeah.
Also, I never understood if you're born on
Leap day?
Leap day.
Leap day.
When do you celebrate your birthday?
When do you celebrate your birthday? Do they just pick the day after, the day before,
I don't
Alright.
know.
Do
to
they flip a
celebrate it
coin?
every year, or can they literally only celebrate? What if they only aged that way? Say it's been 4 years.
That's
this
what
is
they
a
have.
movie in progress.
This is a
right
movie.
here.
in progress.
They actually
So
only
they
aged.
age, so every 4, it'd be like Yoda almost.
They would
Yeah.
live 4 times as long
Every 4 years. So it's been 4 years, but they're only
as
one.
one.
So that whole can you imagine having a 1-year-old for that long?
A 1-year-old for
No.
4 years,
No, that would be crazy.
and then a 2-year-old for 4 more years.
more
Oh
years.
my
Oh my
gosh.
goodness!
It's like no, that's what I'm saying. But what if
No,
it
what
did?
What if it
did.
didn't? That's
like
the
the
next
Curious
movie
Time
we're gonna
does
make.
not apply to them.
It's
That's
like
the new Leap Year
curious.
movie.
Wow.
It's like the curious.
What
case
is it
of
like?
Leap year. Leap year, baby.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Leap year
Not a
buttons.
sponsor.
That was a weird movie.
That was a
I did
really weird
not
movie.
enjoy that
We're
movie.
digressing so much.
The CG was questionable.
This is
They
the
tried to-
off-target part
Off
of the
target.
episode.
Okay, should we just end this?
Well, we're off
Never.
the target, so
Never. This is-
this is the goal.
This
that
is
they look
appalling.
for. Please
Gold.
subscribe. We need your help.
You're our only
conquer
hope.
The universe.
The Techno Union.
The Techno Union.
100%. Yeah. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are having a blast,
Yeah,
and
we're just
we
having
hope
fun.
you have had a blast too. Follow us on
Blast them.
Instagram because whoa, we just turned.
Whoa!
I do that
We
every
suddenly
time.
got wider.
There we go.
There we go.
But if you want to send us an email at we never check it, but you can send us an
We
email.
never check
What? We check it. We check it
Oh,
all
we
the
checked
time.
it. Oh yeah, we never checked. We did check it yesterday, but there was 100.
Wow. We never check it, but you
I
can
love when
say
There
you
was
it.
150. There was 150.
Now that we dropped that bombshell, what are you doing?
What is happening?
It always descends right into
Right into
madness.
chaos.
Right into cabinets.
Always descends to cabinets.
You know, a cabinet is also another name for a milkshake if you're on the East Coast.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What?
It's weird, right?
That is weird.
I don't know why they would call it that.
How did you name it a cabinet?
I don't know.
I have
All
no
you
idea.
East Coast listeners out there, let us
Yeah.
Answer
know
the
what-
question, please.
A
But send us an
cabinet.
email.
Yes,
yeah,
please. We like to hear your ideas and your
The
thoughts.
Stay on Target Instagram is a lively, funny place.
It is.
And so join us on there, please.
Yes.
And anywhere you want. Send us a question or an email, or you got a topic for us you want us to go over. We're probably going to continue
Yeah.
to talk about Clone Wars as the season progresses because it's pretty interesting,
yes.
and watch them as we can. No guarantee that we'll catch all of them and be able to talk about it all, but we'll do the best we can.
Oh, yeah.
We did it with Mandalorian, so
Yeah, we did.
hey, the bar's set pretty high. We're on episode 18.
Wow.
We're
What are we going
almost-
to do when we get to like 100?
Probably.
I don't know, man.
The universe.
We're going to
will
do something
implode.
awesome. We're going to finally
Some-
come out with the moisture farming episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's just-
Oh,
no, we'll do
man.
something awesome.
We'll do
Don't-
something-
You just wait.
We'll do something fun.
And when we
Well,
get to some landmarks in our subscribers, too, we'll do some awesome stuff.
yes. And if you do want to support the show, there's a link down there. You can drop us $1,
$1.
and
A doll hair.
with $1, you can send in a funny GIF to
gotta be a Barbie
the
doll hair.
show, and we will absolutely. If you let's just say you have a comment or a question, and you want us to take a whole show and talk about it,
Mhm.
drop $1 in there, and we will dedicate an entire show to talking about your question. We'd probably do that anyway if you didn't send $1.
A dollop.
Don't tell them
daisy.
that.
I didn't
Right.
say that we would. I said we probably would.
Probably would.
So the music is cued.
Maybe 5. Maybe we do it $5.
Yeah.
That's $5. Yeah, let's say
Cinco
$5,000, and we'll talk about it the whole time
we'll do whatever you want.
$5,000. You can run the show for a day.
for a whole day.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. The music's going, so
It
we're
Oh,
is
getting
going.
out.
Oh, you're going?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sugars. And on that bombshell.
On that bombshell. Stay tuned for another Stay on Target next week. It's Nick, it's Dustin, it's Dan,
Yep. Thanks for watching.
it's the Millennium Falcon.
Go to black screen.
Stay on target.
Stay on target.
Loosen up.
They came from behind. That's it. There was no explosion that time.
They missed.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean they missed?
They didn't stay on target.
Oh. Overshot them
Yeah, that's what happens. They get
by
shot
a day and a half.
and they die.
Porkins.
Poor Porkins.
Poor Porkins.
He never had a chance.
You really didn't.
I want bacon.
Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes.
Bacon pancakes. Bacon pancakes.
We're obviously still here.
Yeah. Hey,
Hi.
everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
See you.